Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Abdul Rashid.
My name is Nur Shazana Peti Shahdan. We are from M382233A.
In this video presentation, my friend and I will explain about what we have learned in Chapter 5, which is aggregate planning in the supply chain. This is the role of aggregate planning in a supply chain. So, the aggregate planning is the process that companies have to determine the level of capacity, production, subcontracting inventory, stock out, and pricing over the specific time horizon, while the goal is to maximize the profit. Next, the decision made at a product family level, which is known as SKU. For your information, SKU stands for Stock Keeping Unit. It is a number that retailers assign to products to keep track of stock level internally. If a product has different colors and size, each variation has a unique SKU number. The operational parameters is based on production rate, workforce, work overtime, machine capacity level, subcontracting, backlog, and inventory on hand. Additionally, all the supply chain stages need to collaborate on an aggregate plan to achieve the good performance. This is the several problems in aggregate planning. First, demand forecast for each period in the planning horizon. Determine the production level, inventory level, and the capacity level for each period that maximize the supply chain's profit. Second, specify the planning horizon, which is within 3 to 18 months. Third, specify the duration of each period. Lastly, specify key information required to develop an aggregate plan. This is the information needed for an aggregate plan, which is demand forecast in each period, production costs such as labor costs, their salary, subcontracting costs, cost of changing capacity such as hiring costs and cost adding or reducing machine capacity, inventory holding costs, and stock out or backlog costs. From the aggregate plan, we will get the outputs, which is production quantity from regular time, overtime, and subcontracted time used to determine the number of workers and suppliers. We can also know the backlog or stock out quantity that used to determine what customer service level will be. But the poor aggregate plan can cause loss in sales and profit, excess inventory, or capacity.
There are 5 planning strategies. Firstly, trade-off. The trade-off strategy involves finding a balance between conflicting factors such as production costs, inventory levels, and customer service. This strategy recognizes that optimizing one aspect may come at the expense of another. Secondly, the chase strategy aligns production and inventory levels directly with change in demand. Instead of maintaining a stable workforce or production rate, organizations using the chase strategy adjust their capacity and output to match the varying demand level. Thirdly, time flexibility from workforce or capacity strategy. This strategy involves having flexibility in workforce or production capacity to accommodate fluctuations in demand. Organizations may hire temporary workers, use overtime, or employ subcontracting to adjust to changing production needs without making significant permanent changes to their workforce or facility size. Next, the level strategy aims to maintain a stable production rate and workforce regardless of fluctuations in demand. Excess production during periods of low demand is stored as inventory for use during peak demand periods. Lastly, the mix strategy. This approach involves maintaining a baseline production level to meet average demand and then making adjustments to capacity or workforce as needed during peak or low demand periods. In basic strategies, There are three strategies, which are chase, time flexibility, and level strategy. The chase strategy aims to minimize excess inventory and associated holding costs, making it particularly suitable for industries with high demand variability. The second strategy is time flexibility. This strategy recognizes that demand may vary over time, and the organization should have mechanisms in place to increase or decrease resources accordingly. The level strategy aims to maintain a constant production rate and workforce level over a specified period, regardless of variations in demand. These three basic strategies offer different approaches to managing production, workforce, and inventory levels in response to changing demand conditions. The trade-off related to capacity in aggregate planning involves finding the right balance between production capacity and demand. On one hand, having excess capacity allows an organization to meet unexpected increases in demand without delays or shortage. However, maintaining excess capacity comes at a cost, as it can lead to underutilization and increased operational expenses. On the other hand, running at or near full capacity can result in operational efficiency, but may lead to challenges in meeting sudden spikes in demand. The trade-off, therefore, lies in determining the optimal level of production capacity that aligns with both cost efficiency and the ability to respond to changes in demand. The trade-off related to inventory in aggregate planning involves managing the level of stock on hand. Building and maintaining inventory provides a buffer to meet fluctuating demand, ensuring that products are available for customers even during peak periods. However, holding excess inventory ties up capital, incurs storage costs, and may risk obsolescence. Conversely, minimizing inventory helps reduce holding costs but may result in stock-outs during periods of high demand. Striking the right balance between maintaining an adequate level of inventory to meet demand and minimizing holding costs is a key trade-off in aggregate planning. The trade-off between backlog or back orders and lost sales involve decisions about how to handle situations where demand exceeds current production capacity. Allowing back orders can help maintain customer satisfaction by fulfilling orders eventually, but it may result in longer lead times and potential dissatisfaction. On the other hand, choosing to limit sales during periods of high demand can lead to customer dissatisfaction and revenue loss. The challenge is to strike a balance that minimizes the negative impact of both back orders and lost sales, taking into consideration customer expectations, lead time constraints, and the organization's ability to fulfill orders. To enhance the effectiveness of aggregate planning, it's crucial to consider the entire supply chain, extending beyond the boundaries of the individual enterprise. This involves collaboration with suppliers, distributors, and other partners to ensure a synchronized and efficient flow of materials, information, and products. Aligning plans and strategies across the entire supply chain helps in addressing bottlenecks, reducing lead times, and improving overall responsiveness to change in demand. Acknowledging the inherent uncertainty in forecasting, it's essential to design flexible plans that can adapt to changes. This involves building agility into production schedules, inventory management, and workforce planning. By incorporating flexibility, organizations can respond more effectively to deviations between forecast and actual demand, minimizing the impact of forecast errors and operations and customer service. Aggregate planning is an iterative process, and it's important to rerun the plan as new information becomes available. This includes updates on demand, market conditions, or changes in the supply chain. Regularly revisiting and adjusting the aggregate plans allows organizations to stay aligned with the dynamic nature of the business environment, making informed decisions based on the most current data. Aggregate planning is also particularly valuable as capacity utilization increases. As demand approaches or exceeds production capacity, effective aggregate planning becomes crucial for managing resources efficiently. It helps in balancing production, workforce, and inventory to ensure optimal capacity utilization while meeting customer demand. This proactive approach allows organizations to avoid overburdening resources or experiencing capacity constraints during periods of high demand. Thank you for taking the time to listen and watch our presentation.